Let me see this. Hey, everybody. Allie Bradley here with NewsNation from Bradley on the Border. And I'm joined here by my friend Megan, who is an extremely talented producer. She's putting together all the videos that you guys have been watching of Bradley on the Border. Megan, thanks for joining us for this Q&A today.
Allie, thank you so much. I'm super excited to get going and get this live. We've already got some comments coming in, so I'll just kind of, narrate through and lead you as we go.
Okay, so first of all, let's start with what's going on, the state of the border, the state of the interior enforcement. We'll give you a little bit of a kind of rundown. Today's story that we're doing, it actually focuses on DHS saying that they've arrested 600 known or suspected terrorists and 2,700 Tren de Aragua members. So you know Tren de Aragua was also designated as a terrorist organization. So those are two pretty big numbers that DHS is touting today, but that also comes on the heels of an OIG report, an Office of Inspector General report that shows that some sectors actually did not adequately screen people from special interest countries back in 2023, which you know was kind of the peak of the problem. And so that's raising some concerns and some alarms for some people who were former chiefs in the patrol and things like that. So that was today's story, and very kind of shocking statistics coming out of that OIG report. They literally had the majority of special interest migrants show up in San Diego, but they had no process to actually vet them. They literally said there were just too many people in custody. So it's kind of mind blowing to read that report and see that all written down. But let's see if we have any mind blowing questions. Do we have any brain busters here, Megan? Anything that's going to stump me today? That would be interesting.
Nothing can stump you, Allie, but we'll do our best. I'm going to put up a screen grab that I took this morning. This comes from our video that we posted a couple weeks ago. This was the ICE raid in Omaha, Nebraska. It's at 1.3 million views, went totally viral. I was going through the comments, and the main thing that people wanted to know about is the business owner. If he's going to face charges, they better arrest the owner of that place. When I sign up for a job, I need to provide every ID known to man. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so it's really interesting because that gentleman that owns that business, he actually was, and I don't know, but this is my gut feeling. He was being honest. He was angry at what happened. He literally said that he e-verified every single one of those people, and that what was the problem is they were fraudulently using other people's identities. So say you showed up with a passport or an ID or whatever it might be that looks similar enough to you, it's not going to be a fake document, right? It's fraudulent. It's something that does not belong to you. But so that is what this guy says every single person went through, that they went through E-Verify, which is that kind of like it's a screening process that employers use to make sure that someone is here working legally. So he was mad. He was saying, these people are my family. Like, what is going on? How could this happen? And what I learned is that someone working within the company who was suspected to be the HR person was also there working illegally. So that individual was kind of cooking the books, if you will, and allowing this to go on as long as it had. I did a follow-up call with them. They still were not facing charges because they have complied with everything with the operation. They also provided their e-verify documents and things like that. So as of right now, from what I understand, that owner is not facing any charges, Megan. Now, that could change, right? They could find something down the road, but right now it's been about a month, and still I have not heard of any charges that they're facing.
Okay, Allie, thank you for that. I am going to say you are breaking up a little bit. I'm just going to remind people that you are at the border, you're in the trenches doing the work. So just to kind of narrate a little bit of what Allie said, she has done follow-up calls with the owner. They are not facing charges at this specific business. And she does believe that he was being genuine when he said that he didn't know that they were illegal people working at his business. And that she believes they were using false identification. So just a little recap of what Allie was just saying, because she is down there, in the trenches, getting the good stuff for you at the border.
If I can get some better service. Let's see here.
Yep, you work on it, Allie.
Megan.
Your picture looks great.
Better
That's
service
awesome.
here. There we go. Is there better service right now?
Yep, it's a little hard to hear you, but that's a great picture to show everyone of where
I
you
can't really
actually
hear
are.
you, so maybe the border like that can cause problems. Hey Austin, do you have a Wi-Fi thing? So I'm with my photographer here, trying to see if we can get something going here so we get better service. We have a
Yep.
Wi-Fi or Wi-Fi. We're
Yep.
gonna try something else
That's
to see if
Allie's
we can
awesome
log on to
photographer, Austin. He goes on a lot of shoots with her. They're gonna work on some Wi-Fi connection for you guys. So just hang tight, post your questions in the chat, and we will get Allie to answer them live for you. Yep. So for those of you guys just joining us, I see the numbers going up in the live stream. Allie is down at the border today working on a story. She's doing live Q&A. She's with yep, there's Austin. Say hi. This is their office, you guys. They're out there in the field. They're getting this scoop that nobody else can get. So just bear with us while Allie works to get some better Wi-Fi and audio for you, and then she'll answer all your questions. For those of you guys just joining us, Allie is at the border. She's working on getting her connection and her mic back up for us. As you can imagine, the Wi-Fi is not great down there. I am her producer, Megan, and I can hear her. Seems like things are going well. We will be doing live Q&A here just in a minute, you guys. So you can post them in the chat. I can see all your comments. I can get them up on screen for you.
Oh,
E47.
oh, it's down there.
Oh, that sounds great, Allie.
I know, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay. Sorry if you see a very unflattering angle of me and Austin right now, but I think you guys will get over it. Okay.
We understand.
Hopefully, it says incorrect password. What am I typing in wrong?
Sure.
Okay, go ahead. Does that have to be capitalized?
Yeah, probably.
47AD 4SD. Okay, now let's see. Now let's see if we. Hey, I think we have a party.
I can hear
Are we
you so
back?
perfectly. There we
Okay,
go.
you're back. Okay. Okay. I think so. Now you have to stay here for a little while.
Oh, nope, audio again.
Now you lost my audio?
Oh, that's better.
Okay, we're just gonna sit here on the car. We're gonna sit.
This
We're
is
gonna
this
sit in
is
the
the
office. We're gonna
definition
sit
of
in the
BTS.
studio office right next to our live view so that you can hear us. Okay, let's pick up the questions. Sorry about that, my friends.
That is it's totally okay. Let me find a great question for you. Let's go to the Bortac episode that we did. This was one of the very first episodes that we did for Bradley on the border. We've got a good question for that. Hi, Allie. Interesting reporting. Is most of their time spent on real missions or on training and teaching? Thanks.
Oh my gosh, I wish I could say that all they did was train and they were down there in El Paso and they were blowing up doors left and right all the time. But they are actually out on missions all the time, whether it be in Kerrville and helping with flood victims, whether it be out trying to find a fugitive that might have escaped from prison, whether it's like manhunts or catastrophes. Bortac and Borstar are the elite forces, basically. They're the special operations group under Border Patrol, and they're regularly deployed to do those things. They were also deployed to help out with the LA riots. They've been deployed in other places throughout the country as well. So they are working on a lot of missions. They do have to make time for training, though, as you know, because that's very important. They rely very heavily on their training and the instincts that they get from that training. So it's essential that they're out there able to make time for that as well.
All right, Allie, thank you. I've got a nice comment from Halo Master 96 just now. He just says, "Stay hydrated, Allie."
Hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that. We do what we can down here.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to a question. This came to you from X. I will add it to the stage right now. This came from Anne Marie K. I know you're super knowledgeable about this topic. Regarding the southern USA border, where there are 300,000 missing children, is there a record of the adults supervising, providing care, and education? What's the latest you have on that, Allie?
So it's hard because those 300,000 kids are essentially unaccounted for. Missing is a hard word. They're unaccounted for, and this is why. So when DHS turns over a child to HHS, that is who deals with the unaccompanied minors, they're basically tasked with finding a sponsor, and they want to find a family member first. That is going to be their priority. Then it goes to a guardian or somebody that they might know, and then from there, it kind of goes down the line. But the reality is, they're only required to basically make that match, and then they're not like congressional law does not require them to follow up. But when they have followed up, 300,000 kids either did not respond, like their sponsor didn't answer the phone, or they never got a court date, so they never showed up to court. So these are those kids. Now they are doing door knocks right now. My ICE sources tell me that they are out there trying to find these children. We know at last check, HHS said 5,000. I know there's at least 9,000 that have been kind of found, if you will. They have been located. They've made communication with them in some way, shape, or form. Now, when it comes to where they are, it's kind of tough because we had 3 government facilities that were held in warm status under the Biden administration for basically the duration of the administration. And that means that we were paying to have them open, but not full of with children. Nobody was there, but they did have to be monitored. People were working there. So instead, when we would have 8 to 10,000 unaccompanied children in custody, which was very regular over the last 4 years, those individuals would basically be sent out to 296 different facilities across the United States. Some of them were old Walmarts that have been repurposed. The majority of them are run by Southwest Key Programs. Now, Southwest Key Programs was actually sued by the Department of Justice under the Biden administration for child abuse and exploitation. And now the Biden administration had that lawsuit, but then the Trump administration's DOJ came back and basically made an agreement with Southwest Key Programs that they would no longer have contracts with DHS, that they would no longer be able to help those children. So they actually walked back the lawsuit on that with that agreement. So right now, those 300,000 some odd children, I don't know what's happening with them. They could be, with a family member, but the family member's not disclosing it. They could be working in a factory. We just don't know. And that is the unfortunate reality of those children. And it is such a close hold because they are minors, they're juveniles. And so that data is not readily available. And it's not something that a lot of my sources have. I have heard higher numbers of them being located, but I'm not at will to discuss those yet because my sources are still not comfortable sharing those specific numbers. So rest assured, it is more than 9,000. When I can finally share that number, I will.
Allie, can you give us a little bit of insight into your sources and how you get your sources? We get a lot of, questions being an unbiased news network about, how can you report that? How do you know? And a lot of the times as a journalist, you can't say who your source is. So can you give us a little insight into how you've become the epicenter of information for Border Patrol and all these agents?
Thank you. That's a high compliment. So I actually just had a funny conversation with one of my first sources today, and we laughed. I said, "You were the first one to call me out on Facebook and set me straight." And that's kind of how it starts. Is they connect on social media, and they usually have a problem, or they usually have a concern, and they bring that to me, and we talk about it, we discuss it, and then I get it through 3 different sources. Is what I have to do. That's the journalistic way. Can't just trust one person. You got to get it confirmed from multiple people, and then you can go with it after you ask DHS for their response, right? So there are a myriad of things that we go through before we put things out to air. But when it comes to how my sources and I have connected, for the most part, I have a handful of very trusted sources. Most people think I've got like thousands. Like I have people sending me stuff from, I wouldn't trust thousands of people. I trust a handful of individuals that help me out almost every day that I know are like my ride or die, that have been with me for 4 years. I picked up a couple of new sources in LA, but other than that, for the most part, the people I get information from, I've been working with for years. We keep joking and say, when I retire, when they retire, we're all going to get together in a big room and it's going to be like the Spider-Man meme and everyone's pointing at each other like, hey, you were giving her info, you were giving her info. So it's kind of a running joke, but It certainly is sensitive, and it's nothing, it's no laughing matter in the sense that every single time they send me something, they're putting their livelihood on the line. They could be investigated, they could be fired for sharing information with the media. So that is not lost on me. I answer their texts at any time of the day, 2 a.m. I'm going to respond because it was important enough for them to message me about it. So I'm going to make time to prioritize them because I know what it takes to put themselves on the line like that.
All right, Allie, thank you for that. Let me see here. I have another question. This came in from viewer, their handle is SMRK. This came on our interview that we did with Kristi Noem. When you were down on the border, you were riding ATVs when Kristi Noem toured the southern border right after President Trump took office. Let me get this on the stage for you. Nope, not that one. Give me 1 second.
I was like, well, I don't know if I can give you a different answer on that, Anne Marie.
All
Okay.
right, hold on. I got it now. Okay.
Hey.
Can you please give us an update on the body cameras that were removed from Border Patrol agents? Is the problem getting fixed? Will they be reinstalled?
So they were reinstated a few days after they were pulled. From what I understand, I don't know what the real issue was, if I can be fully honest. Some agents told me that one of the issues was that they were recording before and after they were on, or something like that. And so it was an issue with the manufacturer, with the company. It sounds like they remedied it pretty quickly after our report, and they were back to using them within days.
Okay, let me get our next question up on here. This came to us from email from Rob. Allie, with the sweeping changes and your immediate impact on curbing the flow of illegal aliens at the southern border, what became of the huge migrant encampments in the Mexico frontera? Lots has been said for those who were being processed and deported, but there were many, thousands of hopeful people who had registered and were awaiting their scheduled court dates. Are any of these people joining with the cartels in an effort to survive the overwhelming changes, Rob?
Well, Rob, unfortunately, I don't go over to Mexico very often. I do most of my reporting stateside. However, I will say this, there were thousands of people over in Mexico waiting to come in. You are not wrong about that whatsoever. However, Mexico did extend kind of an olive branch and did say a lot of those individuals kind of had a home there if they wanted to stay there. So if they didn't go back to their home country, they could kind of seek asylum in Mexico. And a fun fact, mostly everybody who went through Mexico to get here, Mexico is a first safe country, and most of them had viable visas to live and work in Mexico before coming to the United States.
All right, I've got one more right here. This came to us about a month ago on one of our videos. Where do I volunteer for Border Patrol? I know you recently were at a graduation ceremony for Border Patrol agents.
Yes. Yes, so Border Patrol has hiring events all the time. They actually have a $30,000 incentive, I believe, right now for people to go to certain areas that are more remote. Like I think Naco, Arizona might be one of them. But you can basically hire on anytime you want if you just go. I don't know the website because I don't work for Border Patrol. Might be USA.gov. I'm not sure. However, you can't be older than 40. You age out, so they won't let you sign up for Border Patrol or any kind of HSI or ICE position if you're over 39 is the highest age you can go. So maybe you're there, the last real engineer, maybe you're not, but maybe, maybe try.
All right, Allie, I just looked it up. It is cbp.gov.
I was way off Samsonite. Okay, what else do
Close.
we got?
Really, really close. We have a comment in here on the live chat. This is coming from Kim. She's saying it was mind blowing to watch that happening in real time in places like San Diego and Tucson. People are being released completely unvetted.
And you know what, Kim, like you're exactly right about that. Kim is a very, very vocal person and supporter on X. So thank you, Kim, for joining on this. So the issue that a lot of people don't understand is that I found piles and piles of discarded documents because guess what? If you came across the border and say you're from Uzbekistan and you leave your document at the border, even if you crossed into the US, but you just drop it before you meet Border Patrol, and you say, my name is John Smith and I'm actually from Guatemala, and you have nothing that flags in the system to suggest otherwise, then guess what? You are John Smith from Guatemala, Mr. Uzbekistan. That is the reality. They had no like, unless they flagged in the FBI terrorist watch list, they had to take your word for it. So you're right when you say they're completely unvetted. And here's why. We don't have access to the databases, because how many third world countries came to the United States? Most of them, right? We had 203 unique citizenship codes encountered at our southern border. So you want to try to figure out how many of those countries actually have viable medical databases, let alone a viable criminal record that they're going to share with the United States. Because, you don't make a lot of friends getting to the top. So I would imagine we don't have a lot of friendlies out there that are willing to share criminal history and say, yeah, send them back to us. So that's the reality. And that's mind blowing to a lot of people when they hear that. And it almost seems fiction. It's not fiction. That's what we went through for the last 4 years. They did not have proper vetting systems. And then you just learned in San Diego, which had the vast majority of the special interest migrants, they didn't do additional screening for those people at all. So that is a stark reality there. Thank you, Kim.
Okay, great. And Allie, I do want to circle back to what we were chatting about in the beginning when we did kind of lose your video and your audio, because this question or comments more likely is the most engagement we've gotten so far with Bradley on the Border, which has been phenomenal since we started the YouTube show. This goes back to the ICE raids where you guys embedded with ICE in Omaha, Nebraska. And people were commenting. The main comment, which I was really surprised about, was about the owner of the business and
Right.
are they going to be arrested? So let me show these on the screen again. This is just,
Yes.
I got to remove this question first. And now I add this one. There we
There
go.
we go. Yeah.
So this is just a random screen. I could have kept scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, but every single comment was about the business owner and that they should be arrested. So do you have any updates that you can share on that for the people who might have joined us late or missed it at the top?
Yeah. So from what I was saying at the beginning is my heart of hearts, like and unfortunately I trust people, which sucks, but I talked to the gentleman who owned the company, and he was visibly and audibly angry. Like, he was mad at the situation, not mad at ICE for being there, but mad that those individuals used fraudulent documents. So he claims that he used E-Verify very stringently for every single person that came in. They went through this process. E-Verify is a legal way to show if someone is here working legally. And so employers sign on to this program, and they can vet the individual on a different level than just, hey, here's their resume. And so this individual says, this owner said every person went through E-Verify, and he was mad. He was like, these people are my family. We get ice cream together on Fridays. We have donuts here. We're friends. How did this happen? So he was very angry about it. But what some sources told me is that the individual working there in the HR department was also working there using fraudulent documentation. So she was potentially cooking the books in that space. Excuse me, she or he, I'm not sure the gender of the HR individual, but that person was using fraudulent documents. And the individuals that were arrested, 70 of them were arrested for using someone else's documentation. So that's where the issue is, right? They didn't show up with a fake ID. They showed up with someone else's ID. So very hard to tell that that's real or fake, because it's real. It's just, does it belong to me? And so that's what they were dealing with, apparently, according to that owner. As of right now, I did a follow-up call with him. I have not heard of any charges that they're facing or anything like that. Now, counter the marijuana raid that happened in California, that business owner is being investigated for labor practice violations right now. So there's two completely different, things. One was in Omaha, Nebraska, and one was a meatpacking facility, essentially. One was a marijuana grow facility. The owner there had some children, some unaccompanied minors working there, so he may be facing some child labor violations as well as other labor practice violations. But as of right now, the one in Omaha, I don't believe he is.
All right, Allie, thank you. This question was just posted live in the chat. A little crossover between another YouTube show that we do, Reality Check. You've done a lot of good stuff with Ross Coldhart. Silver Wings is saying, ask your local Washington, D.C. lobbyist or congressman about UFO, UAP, and how serious the matter is in D.C. I know you have some Border Patrol agents that are sources of yours that have reported seeing some UAPs and some spooky stuff out while on duty. Can you speak a little bit to that?
Yeah, I mean, they sit up there. They sit a lot and wait, right? It's a lot of hurry up and wait. And I've been there. I've been with them. It's a lot of that. But they look up at the sky a lot and they see weird things a lot. And sometimes they don't report them because they don't want to look like they don't want to be laughed at, right? And so I've had many people tell me they've seen anomalies in the sky. One of the individuals who gave us some videos and information, he initially had contacted me and we were talking about it. And I was like, wow, man, this is way out of my wheelhouse. But when it comes to UFO, UAP sightings down here, Border Patrol looks at the sky a lot, and they say that they've seen some things down here. Definitely cause for concern, but a lot of times they just chalk it up to be a drone or something like that. I don't think they read too much into it. Again, I think it's at the cost of, their own humility.
All right, gotcha. Another question we have, this is in our email. This came from Dave. They want to know, Allie, what part of any does facial recognition play a part in deportation and immigration?
So facial recognition is the most simplest form to identify somebody. The issue is how easy it is to change one's face, right? So it plays an integral role. It is the first thing that they do. They under the Biden administration made it remote, so it was on their phone, so they could go around and do facial recognition down the line. So it's a very, very important part. It is the first line for agents. It's the first thing that they do is take a picture of them and run them through the databases. So I would say it's probably the most important part of their screening process. But again, it's so easy to manipulate that.
All right, Allie, and we've almost been going for about 30 minutes
Yeah,
here,
I
which
think I
was
have
what
to
we said.
jump off here.
Yep. Are you going to do a live for TV on NewsNation?
Yes. Well, I'm actually going to do a podcast for Joe Pag's show, and they'll be showing that as well. I don't know if it'll air today or tomorrow, but hopefully you guys catch that as well because we always have some very, very interesting conversations over there.
Awesome, Allie. Well, we thank you for your time, and we will be sure to do this again, and we will get this posted up on our YouTube as well, so people can, go back and watch on their time.
Awesome. And I'll make sure that my service is better next time. Didn't realize I was going to run into that. So my apologies, my friends, but thanks for hanging with us. And thank you, Megan, for hosting.
Of course.
Cheers, guys. See you next time.